get everybody? Welcome into Prime Time Early Edge. And I got to tell you, what a busy, good day at the brand today. But this is the start. Is it week 10? Is it week 11? Whatever it is, I know this, that the Panthers have lost all 4 on the road this season. They've lost all 4 by double digits. Tonight, the Bears are favored by 3. That, according, of course, to BetMGM, our incredible partners. All the odds on this show are provided by BetMGM. But when you got the Panthers and you got the Bears, sometimes you got to get a little bit creative, but we're going to stay positive. I don't want to see any negativity in the chat tonight, but I do want you to take the chat down, hit that like button for me, put it right back up, and let's just chat away. But on a Thursday night, for Thursday Night Football, I bring in my absolute very best. Bring in the stars of the show. You know them. You love them. And look who I have on a Thursday night, 6 wide. Oh, my goodness. Proppy is here. The counselor is here. AB, our 5-tool player, is here. Coach Phil is here. And, of course, EC with the Early Edge T-shirt is here. And I'm sinking down in my chair because my chair is broken. But CBS did send me a new chair. It's sitting out there, and I'm putting it together tonight. True story. You see I just went down like 6 inches? All right. Before we get to Coach Phil's keys to the game, we thought that maybe you guys wouldn't mind if we spent maybe 5 or 10 minutes kind of looking towards the future, because we are now into November and we have future tickets from our early season shows. And this is according to BetMGM. And I want to leave this up and go around, and I want everybody's take on where you are at in the NFL, because there's no sure ticket in the AFC or the NFC. Just look at the odds. So, counselor, let me come to you. Where are you leaning when you look at this board?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that the Bengals are at plus 1,000. Given about a week ago, you could have gotten them at plus 1,700, plus 1,800. And that was something I talked about on HQ, actually, with Will Brinson some time ago. Your friend, Coach. Here's the thing, though. I'm going with the 49ers at plus 600. I don't care about the 3-game losing streak. The talk of, Brock Purdy just isn't that guy. I'm not really buying into that either. I think when this team is healthy, and they're getting Debo back this week, and Trent Williams will be healthy eventually, I think they're the best team offensively and defensively in spite of a roughed up secondary. Give me the Niners plus 600.
I like that a lot. By the way, we want you to play along. If you see a number you like, whether it's a Super Bowl, whether it's a conference, put it into the chat. Let us know who you think is going to win the Super Bowl or a conference championship. So, Proppy, I'm coming over to you, big boy. And if I know you, like I think I know you, not only are you looking at the odds, but you're also looking at individual awards and opportunities as well. Am I right?
Absolutely, Coach. Yeah, I've got my eye on a couple. I just want to start out talking about these Baltimore Ravens, though. If I were to select a team here that I think has the best shot to play in the Super Bowl, potentially win the Super Bowl, if the season or the playoffs started right now, it'd be this Ravens squad. I've just been so impressed with them top to bottom. Lamar Jackson having a career year. I just think this Todd Monken offense is really allowing him to shine. They stayed relatively healthy. It's been a big issue for the Ravens recently, but they're as healthy as they've been, and it shows. They're just dominant in all phases, in my opinion. So I love the way they're playing football. I think they have a legitimate shot to play in the Super Bowl. And speaking of this team, I think Lamar Jackson, who I've been talking about for weeks as a viable MVP candidate, would be the front runner. And again, if the season ended today, he would win. I believe it's close to a 3-way tie between him, Patrick Mahomes right now, and the third player is eluding me. But Jalen Hurts. Thank you very much, EC. But yeah, Lamar is having a career season. He has just made tremendous strides throwing the football, and I think he's going to continue just piling up the stats, and the Ravens are going to continue to win. They win 12 to 13 games, especially looking what happened to them last season. He has a great shot to take down some hardware.
I apologize for EC jumping in because Jalen Hurts is a distant third right now. Yes, he is a distant third. We have a showdown on that, by the way, which is why he wants to include Jalen Hurts in the discussion. It's Lamar Jackson or it's Patrick Mahomes. That's it. All right. But EC, let me come to you. When it comes to these teams, what are you looking at?
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach. I actually sold my Jalen Hurts MVP ticket. I cashed out early because I agree with you. I actually would put him third behind Mahomes and Lamar Jackson in some order. But there are 2 bets on this board that I love. I gave you the Eagles in our NFL preview show at 5-1. I'm still taking them 8-1, best team in the league. You can't convince me otherwise. I also love it 6-1, the Bengals to win the AFC. Sorry, Proppy. I know you're on the Ravens. It makes sense. But in the playoffs, I do not trust Lamar Jackson, but I do trust Joe Burrow at 6-1 odds. I think they seem great.
Well, I clearly got to come to Coach Phil next because nobody has a more critical eye when it comes to who plays the game than you. Do you agree with what EC just said, and what do you see on this board, Coach Phil?
I categorically never agree with what EC just said. For the record, see ya. So I looked at this list, honestly, and I'm like, who would I piss off the least by making my plays, because I know like half of the head coaches on this list. So I'm just not going to do it. I don't know the Chiefs at all. Coach is the host. They're the reigning Super Bowl champs. And they were the best guys to work with that week, Coach. I left and coached the Pro Bowl after we left the fight. Those guys were so close. They had so much camaraderie. There were 7 of them. And I just have a lot of respect for how they go about their business. And I love Gates Barbecue, who give me some of that sauce, put some on my chicken, and let's get to work with KC.
Thank you. Thank you. That's how you give an answer right there. Now, somebody in the chat said, AB with the backward hat. That's the energy we need tonight. I agree. AB, what are your thoughts?
I woke up feeling dangerous. So let me tell you, we are going to take huge risks with this.
Okay.
Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl. That's what's going down. And I'll tell you exactly why. You look at the Chiefs division. Who's going to take it? The Raiders? They're currently in charge with somebody who's at P.F. Chang's. I do not trust anything in the AFC West except the Chiefs, and the Philadelphia Eagles have already got 1 win under their belt under the Dallas Cowboys. I don't disagree with the Bengals. Don't disagree with the Ravens. Great teams. But you know what? All 4 teams in the AFC North have winning records. That is going to be a difficult division. And lastly, I want everyone to pay attention, not only for futures bets, but for betting in general as we go. Take a look at teams, these upper echelon teams, points per game at home and on the road. I have never seen a larger delta difference for these teams home and away than I have this year. Home field advantage is going to seriously matter this year in the playoffs. So keep that in mind.
I love that. Hashtag educate and entertain. Now, Ryan says, the game is bad tonight if this is what's being discussed right now. What, discussing trying to get tickets for you to cash? Is that what's being discussed right now? As we look at everything, this is what this brand is all about? Is that what's being discussed right now? Is that what we're doing? Now, by the way, EC, I know somebody's going to be in Vegas for the Super Bowl for 6 days. So if you need me to place any bets for you, you just give him a call. That would be me. All right.
Coach, I want to hedge. I want to hedge because I have Eagles. I have Eagles over Chiefs. So I'll ask you to hedge a little bit for Chiefs when they play the Eagles.
Thank you. Now, Coach Phil, I apologize because my flow was coming right to you. And as we talk about Coach Phil's keys to the game, we got to get that sponsored for next season, AB. Coach Phil's keys to the game brought to you by BetMG. It sounds good to me. All right, Phil, let's start with the visiting Panthers, who on the road this season have been dreadful. Start us off.
Man, that sounds good to me. The last time we were in BetMGM, Power Guy was not good to me. So anything we can do to recoup that would be fantastic. So just getting right into it. All right, Frank Reich has turned play calling duties over to Thomas Brown, who's an ascending young coordinator who everybody loves. And he said it in such a self-aware way in his press conference, saying to focus on game management, which is your timeouts, when to go for it, when not to, and to help develop the young quarterback. They've struggled on offense. They're 28th in total offense, 187 yards passing a game with 96 yards rushing. They're only averaging 17.5 points per game. Bryce Young is young, and he's had growing pains, as we can see every week. But some stars that may or may not show up tonight. Chuba Hubbard, he's my starting tailback in fantasy, so he's probably going to flounder. But he's had a bulk of the carries so far, at this late juncture in the season, as far as 9 weeks through. Miles Sanders is always capable back. Adam Thielen, he's going to win the Comeback Player of the Year award, in my opinion. He's got 62 receptions, 610 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And then the number 2 thing is, can this Carolina Panthers defense overcome the multitude of injuries that they've sustained? Most notably, Brian Burns. I'll tell you right now, the Bajet family, the entire one from top to bottom on the family tree, celebrated when this guy was out. No C.J. Henderson. Xavier Woods and Von Bell are in tonight. They're the 8th ranked defense overall. They're 5th in passing, but that alarming statistic is they're 28th against the run. That is terrible. And then they are last in points allowed with 28.3. They're tied with Denver. And that's probably the most important stat. They're going to have to get that thing down probably about 7 to 10 points to win tonight.
So glad you mentioned that last thing. So let's go to our first best bet of the night, because it just happens to be a running back. Proppy, I'm coming to you, big boy. Why do you think we should fade Mr. Hubbard tonight?
Yeah, I think for a variety of reasons. The biggest caveat, or the biggest reason being, this Bears defense, while they're not a good overall unit, their run defense has been absolutely lights out phenomenal. They haven't allowed a running back to eclipse 45 rushing yards in 5 consecutive weeks. They rank second in EPA allowed per rush across the board, second in run stop win rate. Just very impressed with this Bears run defense. Carolina struggles running the football. The offensive line hasn't been very good this season. And then Chuba Hubbard, while he's been adequate, he's splitting carries and touches with Miles Sanders, who outgained him last week in total combined yards, despite having close to a third of the touches. Miles Sanders is still working back from an injury, but he participated in practice all week. So I expect close to a 50-50 split as far as the touches are allocated in that backfield, coupled with the fact it's just a tough matchup. That's why I'm fading Chuba Hubbard tonight, Coach.
So many great nuggets there. That's our first best bet. But if you want a side, and I absolutely agree with this, it was one of my best bets today. You mentioned Will Brinson, counselor, and I'm 9 games up on him in our little early edge against Pick 6. I'm crushing him. I'm wiping the floor with him. Explain to the good people why you and I are on the same side tonight.
The Bears -3. Okay, a couple things here. They're the better team, for one. I love what Proppy just said about the rush defense. I mean, first of all, the Bryce Young experience hasn't really gone super well. The Bears secondary, yeah, you can eat them up, but I really think this game is going to be controlled through the ground with the Chicago Bears at home, mind you. Now, if you look at Tyson Bagent, yeah, he's probably the lesser skilled quarterback than Bryce Young, but I think he's just going to be that guy that we saw 2 weeks ago when I had his over in completions of 18.5, where he's just a guy that's just going to toss it down the field in the middle area to guys like Cole Kmet, to guys like DJ Moore, and maybe sometimes out of the backfield to guys like Roshan Johnson, for example. But I really think this is going to be won and lost in the trenches. And because there are so many injuries on the Carolina side, really at the linebacker group and in the secondary, there's just still so many injuries. I just don't think this team is equipped to cover a line of +3 here. I have it at -3. Like it's a big difference here in a low scoring game, right? If it's 3.5 or 4, that's why I put this play in on SportsLine last night when the line touched 3. I think if you have it at 3.5, personally, I would buy the 0.5 point and take it. Like the juice on that is probably going to be around -130. That's how I would play this because the margins are kind of tight in such a low scoring game. But again, I think the Bears are the better team. I think they're going to run the ball. They're going to establish the run, win this game, cover the spread.
I'll be honest with you. I played the money line at -165. I wanted no part of the spread, although I do think they cover it. I really, really do. But I took it out. I normally wouldn't do that. It's not really our cup of tea. But sometimes the juice, AB,
it's worth that squeeze.
You're damn right it is. All right, now back over to Coach Phil. Let's go to the Bears' keys to the game.
The Chicago Bears need to eliminate turnovers. All right. The Bears are the league's worst with a -9 turnover margin. You will not win football games in the NFL if you're the worst in turnover margin. That's just the way it is. The Bears have 18 giveaways. And I can tell you right now, AB has just been texting me all day. The no-fly zone is completely open right now. 18 giveaways, 12 INTs, 6 fumbles. And Tyson Bagent threw 3 interceptions last week. Until they get that correct, they're going to have a hard time winning football games. The Bears' key weapons that you need to watch tonight will be DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, who each have 5 touchdowns, and Deontay Foreman, who's run the ball really solidly over the last few weeks. On defense, what's key number 2? The Chicago Bears defense needs to improve, especially with the sack totals. They only have a league low 10 sacks, and they added Montez Sweat, not Josh Sweat, not Keith Sweat. Speaking of Keith Sweat, the thing that's gotten Matt Eberflus most twisted is the 10 sacks that they have, which is a league low. And for context, what really has Eberflus twisted is the fact that the Giants have 15, so they have 50% more sacks, and they're 31st in the league. So they paid $250,000. I mean, they paid $25 million a year for a pass rusher to a team that has 10 sacks. So clearly they're talking to you about what is important to turn this thing around, and that's a pass rush. They're 28th in pass defense on the season. And the Bears, they do have an excellent run defense. They're 4th in the NFL, 79 yards a game. So if they can continue to stop the run, eliminate the turnovers, they'll have a better chance of winning tonight.
Somebody said in the chat, it's a Bears thing to do, to stink so badly and have a great run defense. That's a very Bears thing to do. Proppy, I'm coming right back to you, big boy, because you have one on this side of the fence, and it's another running back. Talk to me.
It is, Coach. We're talking Dante Foreman. I love him to go over 62.5 rushing yards. I do want to mention that I gave this out on the site just a few hours ago at 56.5. So some tremendous closing line value here. But Coach Phil talked about it. Dante Foreman has been running the football very, very effectively. The games that he hasn't has been games that he's been game scripted out and just simply hasn't gotten the volume. With the Bears being 3-point favorites, playing at home, and more importantly, playing against a Carolina Panthers team that's absolutely dismal against the run. Coming into last week, 31st in EPA allowed per rush. They rank in the bottom 5 in literally every defensive rushing metric. So this is a tremendous matchup for Dante Foreman, who I expect to be the focal point of this Bears offensive game plan. Also a little extra sweet revenge narrative as well, as he played for the Panthers last season. So certainly will be motivated to have a big game. His rushing attempts line is 15.5. If he gets 16 rushing attempts in this game, I think he will easily sail north of this 62.5 yard rushing line. Love this one.
And a big-time thank you to our man Specty, supplying the AI model that we love so much. You can see there almost 37 yards of value according to the AI model. Now, in the chat, Jared says Eddie Pinheiro over 1.5 field goals is plus 105. EC, are you perhaps leaning into Eddie Pinheiro tonight?
Yeah, I hate to go with a Panthers kicker, Coach, but I'm rolling with his over 5.5 at minus 105. First of all, you rarely see. Yeah, it is. He played 1 year for the Bears, and he stunk. He absolutely stunk for them. It's a revenge game, I guess. Listen, the Bears have given up multiple field goals in 6 of 9 games this year, and Pinheiro somehow has been over this total in 6 of his 8 games this year, has multiple field goals in 5 of them. I think Carolina has 3 field goals and a touchdown with a 2-point conversion, and I think the Bears win 23-17. But my other play is another weird one, but we're going to roll with it. Go with Adam Thielen plus Darnell Mooney under 98.5 combined receiving yards at minus 118. Now, the Bears defense, against receivers actually hasn't been that bad. They've only given up 3 receivers over 60 yards this year. Mike Evans is the only one that's topped 100 against them in week number 2. Now, Carolina has allowed the fewest receiving yards in the NFL to slot receivers where Darnell Mooney lines up. I think DJ Moore has a nice revenge game. Didn't quite want to make a play there. I think Adam Thielen goes under 60 yards. I think Darnell Mooney goes under 40 yards. And I think we hit this under 98.5 combined receiving yardage total.
All right, that last bet, where can we find it at?
BetMGM.
Oh, I love hearing that tagline. I love BetMGM.
Yeah.
You know, though, that new BetMGM customers
That was phenomenal. Keep going. That's phenomenal.
Thank you very much. You get $200 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10, and you will receive $200 instantly in bonus bets, regardless of your wager's outcome, with bonus code EDGE200. That is bonus code EDGE200. Now, I can't give anything away, but I'm telling you this, and AB can back me up. We've had meetings this week. So many things are about to change. So I can tell you. You guys keep asking me about BetMGM. We met with them too. We got you covered. Just give me a little bit of time, but we got you. Now, it's time for the favorite part of the show. At least it's mine. AB, Coach Phil, the floor is yours. And this should be very interesting based off of these 2 quarterbacks tonight. AB, you're up.
Yeah, speaking of buying time here, we're going to start with our man, Bryce Young. Here's the good part. All right, so if anybody is new to the early edge, the no-fly zone, on the top left, you have the Bears secondary defensive completion percentage rankings in the NFL. Below that are SportsLine simulations of the odds that Bryce Young will throw an interception tonight. Not bad at 99%, all right? And below that, Bryce Young, his chart, interception splits. Second down is where he throws most of his interceptions, which you see in the bottom right here. 8 touchdowns to 7 picks this year, 77.1 passer rating. They'll run the ball on first down, and they'll throw the ball on second down, and that's where he gets into trouble. But look below that. Red zone, Bryce Young, 8 tutties, 0 picks, looking good. Now, top right, I have taken and created basically an amalgam of what Bryce Young looks like in any given game. Take a look. Green dots, completions. White dots, incompletions. Red dots, interceptions. blue dots, touchdowns. Very short passes, 20 yards and in, most of them 5 yards in. They keep it safe with Bryce, but he will test you just a little bit. To be honest with you, not too terribly bad for how kind of awful that the Panthers are. So, that being said, let me pull up the no-fly zone you see right here. The middle of the field and the short right is where Bryce is going to be in trouble. Now, good for him. The Bears have 0 pass rush whatsoever. They'll stop your run, but you can throw on them all day long. Now, let's go next to our man, Tyson Bagent here. Same deal. Now, Panthers secondary, a little bit better in spots. You look at Tyson Bagent, 99% to throw a pick. 67% of his interceptions. He's thrown 3 touchdowns, 6 picks. 67% of them have been in the fourth quarter, chasing down the team in the lead. But look at the red zone. 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. These two quarterbacks are a combined 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in the red zone. So give them credit for that. And if you look at Tyson Bagent, bottom right, 67.3% completion percentage. Not bad, but look above that, and I will tell you why. Look at the 10-yard line and in. They don't even allow the man to throw it beyond 10 yards unless the play is broken. You can see he has a touchdown deep right, but he has 3 picks. This is how things get out of control. So all of that being said, you see middle of the field deep, middle of the field short. That's where he's going to get into trouble. But let me bring myself on here so we can give our picks and throw it to Phil. So what I have is this. First one, Panthers-Bears over 2.5 turnovers, minus 130 because, dear God, why not? All right, now. Yeah, Bryce Young, Tyson Bagent. Also, we're going to play over 38.5 completions because the AI model has Bryce Young over 21.5, and it has Tyson Bagent over 18.5. But that's not why I'm playing it. Why I'm playing it is what you just saw on those charts. All right. These two quarterbacks are going to be able to throw 2-yard passes, 3-yard passes, 4-yard passes. And especially if the Bears take away the Panthers run as a whole, Bryce is going to throw all night because he's not going to have any choice. And I think Tyson Bagent is going to throw the ball a little more than we think as well. So those are our 2 plays, over 2.5 turnovers, and both quarterbacks combined over 38.5 completions, which you can find at BetMGM.
And for the record, the sniper earlier this week on the early edge played Bryce Young, over half an interception, around minus 140, and Cole Kmet, anytime touchdown. That might be part of our future segment, too. A-Max is on DJ Moore, anytime touchdown, and the Maestro's on Jaquan Brisker, over 5.5 tackles and assists. All right, Coach Phil, can't wait to hear what you have on this one. Talk to me.
Yeah. So I love when AV gets going on the no-fly zone. So let's talk about my man Bryce Young. I just get juiced up when I see these amalgams. I didn't even know how to pronounce that word. Look at me.
I didn't either until about 20 minutes ago, so don't worry.
I mean, I'm learning things. I got CEO over here with all my my legal trouble. I got him as he can help me out with all these things. You're teaching me new vocabulary words. It's awesome. What's not awesome is Bryce Young being a rookie quarterback in the NFL. All right. It's just the youth of the position. It's an away game. He's a small quarterback. You guys know how I feel about these small quarterbacks. How many times does a ball get batted down or batted up, even worse, with these 6-foot quarterbacks every week? Every game it happens. And then you got Montez, don't call me Josh or Keith Sweat. This is he's going to be rushing down on this young guy. So in my mind, this is not a great night for the young man on the road. Let's go to Tyson Bagent. All right. Is he going to turn into a pumpkin? Does we have another week or 2 of this guy before Fields comes back? We got to figure that out. He's been playing from behind, so that gives a great probability of picks. He's also young. And then one thing, just from a coach's perspective, he does have good anticipation when he throws the wide receivers. What he doesn't anticipate is how fast the defensive backs close distance and they get in front of the football and they pick it off. So it's been very disappointing to see. Like, he has some attributes, but I just don't know if he's going to get there before Justin Fields and the rest of these guys get healthy. So he has thrown the ball 3 times to teams last week. And again, we're in Chicago. Have any of you guys been in O'Hare or Midway?
Hey, unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, well, guess what? Tonight is a no-fly zone. We're in Chicago.
All right. what a dynamic duo AB and Coach Phil have become. So quickly, let's bounce around as we head for the top of the hour. I'm coming to you first, Proppy, because everybody's talking about that beard that you've been rocking tonight like a badass that you are. So Adam Thielen is really the guy when you're talking the Panthers side of things. His numbers are this: 6.5, 69.5, 20.5 longest reception.
Thielen's an interesting case to me. I think his play is starting to plateau just a tiny bit in comparison to the torrid start that he got off early in the season. I also just think the EC mentioned, actually, this Bears pass defense hasn't been quite as bad, certainly, as they were early on in the season. I think Thielen is really benefits from the Panthers playing from behind with these trailing by double digits, these large deficits. And as a result, teams playing off and Thielen just kind of working over the middle of the field and teams allowing him to. And in a competitive or neutral game script, I'm going to stay away. I have a slight lean to the under, if anything. Don't hate either way, but yeah, I'd actually have a slight lean to the under on Thielen's props tonight.
Okay, so we're fading Adam Thielen a little bit. Now, Counselor, I'm coming over to you, because when I look at the box score last week for Chicago, Darnell Mooney, 5'4", 82. Cole Kmet, 6'4", 55. DJ Moore, only 3 for 44, but he's the guy that everybody's talking about in the chat. Where would you go if you wanted a Bears receiving prop?
I think it's going to adjust a little bit. I think DJ Moore is going to get a lot more targets and a lot more catches. I would actually be fading Darnell Mooney and looking at Cole Kmet. Now, looking at Cole Kmet, he's been awesome the last 2 games with Bajan. I mean, obviously 10 for 10 for 79 yards in the first edition of this, and then 6 for 8 and a couple touchdowns last week. So I think Kmet is, I don't want to say he's pretty safe, but if you look at his catch prop, it's 3.5, but it's juiced like minus 175 to the over. So I think the market thinks he's going to catch 4 and maybe 5 balls. His receiving yard prop, while we're not getting the best of the number, it's 35.5, or I should say 32.5, I believe. And it's 35.5. And I like the over there. I mean, it's, again, we're not getting the best of the number, but I'd be looking at DJ Moore. I'd be looking at Cole Kmet. I'd be looking to fade Darnell Mooney.
And EC, let me come to you, because if there's anybody on this stage that's not going to agree with me, it's going to be you. So I think my best bet, if I was to add a play, it would be longest completion under for Bryce Young at 32.5. Bajent's is 30.5. Speak to both.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Young, I don't know where Adam Thielen's not a deep threat, Coach. I mean, if he's going to go deep, Jonathan Mingo's probably your guy there. It's a rookie, and the Bears, as Proppy and I've talked about, haven't given up more than 3 receivers having 60 or more yards this year. As far as Bajent goes, I would actually lean over. DJ Moore, deep threat against his old team. There's a revenge angle there. So under on Bryce Young, I like that, Coach. And I would a slight lean to the over for Bajent.
All right. I just played his completions while you guys – I made like 4 or 5 bets based off these guys. Proppy, go.
Just wanted to piggyback on the play, Coach, that you mentioned regarding Bryce Young's longest completion under. I think it's good tonight. And I also wanted to mention DJ Chark is inactive, and he is the deep threat for this Panthers offense. So I like it even that much more.
He is.
He was actually the reason why I played that. So great minds, me and you, right? Great minds. It's almost uncanny. It really, really is. Now, when you got 2 teams like this, AB, the one thing I'm always going to look at is team freaking totals. We've been cashing. So Panthers are 17.5, and EC, you said they're going to score 17. The Bears are 20.5. So the Bears should go over, according to EC. The Panthers should go under. Halftime, 7.5, 10 for the Bears.
The Bears play is the much more safe play here, right? I would take the Bears, feel good about that one, honestly, especially 20.5. I like it. 17.5 is difficult because you're looking at obviously either 3 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. So think about how many times it takes getting down the field to do that. So I think that if you're going to play anything points-wise, I would play the Bears team total, all right? I would play the Panthers team touchdowns because the number is set at 1.5, and you're going to have 2 touchdowns to get over 17.5. So you might as well just play 1.5 touchdowns and save the rest of the field goals and the other times because you're going to need it anyway. So that's how I'd approach it.
Can you imagine 6 field goals? AB, you told me.
Yeah, exactly. Eddie Pinheiro. He's calling it over in the revenge game.
Yeah.
Also, let me say this. I'm
Yep.
fascinated. I'm fascinated with the Panthers defense because you were just talking about it in regards to the run is not that good, but the secondary is not bad. If I'm the Panthers, I am selling the hell out to stop the run, and I'm going to make you throw the ball. I don't give a damn what happens. You're not going to run the football. I don't care how many people I have to put up here. You're not going to run the football. So watch that early in the game. I'm fascinated to see if they go about it that way.
All right. There's been so many times we say hashtag it pays to watch live. I've literally made 5 bets in the last 5 minutes based off of everything my guys say. That's how important watching us live is. Now, Don Johnson says, great minds think for themselves. I had no idea that the great Miami Vice actor was a fan of the early edge. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don.
Was he on Eastbound and Down too?
Is he?
Yeah,
Is he Eastbound and Down?
I think he was his father.
Oh, maybe so. God, we have so many celebrities watching us.
He was in Tin Cup.
He was.
Oh, 10 Cup. That's right. He was the major one in 10 Cup. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Don. Welcome to the early edge. Tell your friends.
Yeah.
They're all welcome. All right. Now, we are 4 minutes past the top of the hour. Anybody have anything else they need to get off their chest? Proppy, let's start with you.
Real quick, I just wanted to touch on Miles Sanders tonight. I think there's some value on his combined rushing and receiving total. Only 36.5 yards. I mentioned it's been the Chuba Hubbard show recently, but Miles Sanders practiced in full all week, had a very productive week last week. I could see him splitting touches, getting a big discount on this number if that is the case. He is also the preferred receiving back as well, so I like that as a look.
I want to be clear. His combo number is up close to 60. Did you mean his rushing number?
No, Miles Sanders.
I looked at the wrong one. I was talking about Chuba Hubbard. Ignore me, Proppy. Ignore me.
Colonel Sanders is like 30.
Anybody else got anything they need to say that can help people out at home? We're all good. All right. I think everybody just really wants to get to this next section because this is the fun. This is where we talk the trash. This is where we all – sorry, Phil. God, I always have to change what I say because we're not all in the same place. All right, so if you're new to the brand, this is the fun portion of the show. We like to predict. The other day, it was a little tiny punt returner. I didn't even know his name. Drives me bananas when that happens, but it happens. It's got to be plus 1,000 or higher. Coach Phil, I want receipts on your pick. So,
No problem. Always got him.
Oh, he says I always got him. All right, so here's how we do the order. Whoever has the most gets to go first. And since week freaking 1, my man, the counselor, has been setting the standard. See you in a shot. Where are we going tonight?
Well, everybody knows I don't typically like to dip below plus 1,800. 6 of my last 7 have been plus 1,800 or longer. I'm going Jonathan Mingo here. Listen, he just came up at the end of the show a little bit. DJ Shark out. EC brought Jonathan Mingo up as a potential deep play threat. And listen, this is a little contrarian in the sense that I like the Bears to win this game. And honestly, I think I like the Bears to cover kind of easily. That's just me. That's how I'm looking at this game. But that doesn't mean that Carolina can't score first. We get a good number on basically the wide receiver too, because they are the dog, because they are on the road. So plus 1,800 here for a guy that's going to have to fit in real quick as the wide receiver too. I like this one.
Yeah, I like it too, even more now that I didn't get him. Now, I had no idea, AB, that my favorite CBS Sports HQ anchor was also playing Oh, that's Tommy Tran. Okay, sorry. So you're Tommy Tremble. Tell me why.
Well, 2 reasons here. One, if you're anywhere close to Tommy Tran, that's greatness. So we're going to ride with that one. But number 2, if you're a quarterback in the NFL and you have a guy named Tommy Tremble on your team, of course you throw it to Tommy Tremble. It is Bryce Young's guy. He does like it. If you go look at the numbers, his red zone targets are pretty nice, all things considered, for a team that really doesn't score at all. That said, it's Thursday. It's weird. The Bears pass secondary is atrocious. So give me Tommy Tremble here, and let's tremble down the field and get it, my man. At plus 4,000, too.
The last time AB said craziness was going to happen was 3 days ago, and look what happened. All right. Now, Proppy, you've cashed twice this year, and I know it burns you to see the counselor and our 5-tool player have 3 in front of you. Am I right?
You are absolutely right, Coach. It burns me, it eats me alive, but here we are. I did want to give a quick shout out to the great Tommy Tran as well. If Tommy is watching, you are the man. But let's go. Miles Sanders, I mentioned him as a potential value pick as I like his combination line. I think he's going to see an uptick in carries. It's rare to get a running back, certainly of his caliber, at these sort of odds at plus 2,000. Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if on the first drive we see Chuba Hubbard get the ceremonial start to say, and then we see Miles Sanders end up punching in a touchdown, getting me my third ticket along with AB and Sia.
By the way, whoever is asking about Miles Sanders over 1.5 catches as being a lock, I won't even let Proppy answer it. No, there's a reason it's at 1.5. We don't do that. You're right, Proppy?
100%, Coach.
You're damn right. All right, I'm going to go next. Darnell Mooney. He had 8 catches last week, and if Bajent is throwing 8 to anybody, I'm going to be all in at plus 1,100. You're damn right, according to BetMGM. EC, I'm coming to you.
All right, Coach, I just want to give you some standings. Right now, I'm 1 of 20. You are 1 of 29. And Phil, 0 of 29.
Whoa. You are not allowed to bring up my record when I got in before you. You can only talk trash on people behind you. So don't start that, because I will clip you in a heartbeat.
Coach, I am a numbers guy. 5%. 1 out of 20 is 5%. 1 out of 29 is 3.4%. All right, I'm just saying. All right, on to the next one. I'm going Tyson Bagent at plus 1,800. So one of my friends is a big fantasy football guy. He would get so mad when his fantasy running backs would get their touchdowns stolen by quarterback sneaks at the 1-yard line. Well, Tyson Bagent in 4 games has done that twice. My friend would call them an egomaniac. So Tyson Bagent, I hope you're an egomaniac with the first touchdown tonight, as I really would like to get ahead of Coach.
And what was your record after tonight? What will it be?
1 of 21.
1 of 21. Interesting. AB. So when we look at the yearly stats that we put together at the end of the season, he will be 1 for 21.
Yep.
Because tonight will be his last show. Now, I hate to stir things up, and I don't like doing this. However, there is a person in the chat that just wrote this.
All right.
Wait. Why does everyone have a diamond except for Phil? Now, normally I wouldn't just call that person out, but this person has a name, and he's part of hashtag the crew. And apparently he wants all the smoke from Coach Phil. Coach Phil Buckets is making fun of you for not being in the club. In
an era where everybody works remote, I will allow it. And then I will table it like Arya Stark in Game of Thrones, and then I will come for you in the night. All right, when you least expect it, Buckets. All right, have a good evening. This is the BetMGM Coach Phil Clean Living No Club pick of the day, brought to you by BetMGM and Jamie Foxx. For anybody who doesn't want to get in the club and wants to live soberly, you can take picks with me and not get in the club. So I saw AB. I thought that was Tommy Tuberville at first, which was nuts. I said, man, that guy is crazy. No lie, I saw Tommy Tuberville talk for an hour on a grease board at a clinic with 10 guys on the field on the Bear defense. It was insane.
I'm sorry.
It was bad, but so I'm going with my guy Cole Kmet. From here on out, I'm taking chalk. I don't care what anybody says. Again, just like you guys talking trash to me over the internet. All right, I'm gonna take who I want over the internet, and there's nothing you can do about me. All right, as long as I get this thing in when it's supposed to, then that's the way it's gonna be. Cole Kmet tonight gets me off the snide in a major league way. And Bucket, look into the camera, deep. I see you, and I will find you.
Apparently you just scared him, because I just got a text that says, Phil, I'm so sorry. I swear to God, I'm not making it up. It's right there. All right.
I love you, Buckets. You know I love you. I am scary. I'm a scary human being. I'm sorry.
He is a scary dude. Trust me. 6'3", all rock solid. All right. We're really close to tip-off time, so we got to do our best bets for everybody to get one last final chance to get them in tonight. One line, each bet. Counselor, go.
I'm scared too. I think he just quoted Liam Neeson's, by the way, which was awesome. I got the Bears -3. I think they roll.
That's awesome. Probably go.
Dante Foreman over 62.5 rushing yards. I think he's going to be the focal point of the offensive game plan tonight. Chuba Hubbard under 40.5 rushing yards, facing a very good Bears defense, and I think Miles Sanders may split touches with him.
Brisker over 5.5 tackles and assists. The sniper's on Bryce Young to throw at least one interception. And Cole Kmet, he's with you. Hopefully that anytime touchdown is the first touchdown for Coach Phil. AB, you're up.
Both teams over 2.5 turnovers combined. And if you are a huge fan of 5-yard hitch routes, tonight is your night. Over 38.5 completions between both QBs.
Tonight is your night, bro. EC, you're up.
AB called it a revenge game for Eddie Pinheiro, over 5.5 points at -105. And then we're going under 98.5 combined receiving yards from Adam Thielen and Darnell Mooney. Let's hope it hits.
Every time I hear revenge game and a kicker, I go, are we really allowed to do that? I hear Peyton Manning. He's a kicker. He's a kicker.
There's no revenge games for kickers.
No revenge game for a kicker.
Yeah, Mike Vanderjack never got his revenge game.
That was so funny. That's a kicker.
Peyton Manning has revenge on him.
That's so true. All right, do not forget, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow we are live at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, also 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Me, EC, Proppy, and Uncle Dave for our props extravaganza for Week 10. In the meantime, enjoy the game tonight. Pay it forward. Be kind to one another. And let's all meet you know where. So with all that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Thursday night tickets straight to the pay window. My entire crew, Lobo, EC, Coach Phil, AB, the counselor, Proppy, and even Buckets in the chat taking his time. I am simply the coach trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you every single day, twice a day, except for Saturdays, which would not be every single day, but we grind for you so we can win with you. It's really all about, even on prime time, early edge. Good luck.